Okay, you guys, I'm here. I've been here since 3:20. It is almost 6 o'clock now. I am set up. I have way more space than I anticipated. And wow. I mean, I'm just shocked. So I was able to get everything. Everything is out on the tables. And I am not next to the bake sale table. I am right here at the door, right on a corner. So I have two shop fronts. That's how I ended up with extra space. It just like, I did not plan for that or anticipate that. So let's, before they kick me out of here, let's walk around and see what we can see. I'm assuming this is the bake sale table. Just kind of walking through. People still setting up. These are cool. I like these. Those are nice. Ooh, some quilting. Wow. That's so cheap for quilting. Well, not everyone is here, but from the way it looks, I might be the only plushie girl here. All right, you guys, it's kind of dark in the car. I am on my way home from setting up. And oh my goodness, it was so hot in there, so humid. It's rained like the last 3 days, and it's just been crazy. All right, that's a little better. Turned on one of the lights. But yeah, it was extremely hot. I was not next to the bake sale table. I was 2 booths away, right at the main entrance, and it has 2 facings. So we did not practice for that. I was like, oh my gosh. There were these 2 teenage girls there, and they were helping me, which I went back and had to change some of the things, but for the most part, they did a really good job. So, I mean, that was helpful because I got every single thing is out of the tote. There's nothing for me to pull out and restock with because I have the extra space with having the dual facing. So they provided me with a 6-foot table, and I had my borrowed 6-foot table, and I didn't even use my 4-foot table. So I'm going to use that for like my bags and my business cards and things like that behind me. And I have a chair right in the middle, and the bathroom is like maybe 50 feet away. So if I have to take off and run to the restroom, it shouldn't be an issue. The lady that is next to me is also, her name is also Robin, and she told me that they do have people that come around to let you, see if you need any help, if you need to use the restroom or anything like that. So before I even left the house, I was in a panic because I couldn't find my bag of S-hooks that have been sitting on the top of my totes for 3 weeks, and it wasn't there. And that's what I needed to hang up my keychains with. So luckily, when I was practicing, I had the loose ones that I put in a different little baggie and put that baggie in one of the totes. So I had enough S hooks, but I was in a panic. And I was like, couldn't find it anywhere at the house. So I'm thinking it has to be in one of the totes, but it's not. So one of my peoples that live with me has moved it. I don't know what they could have done with it. I don't know why they would want them, but I'm sure they thought they were being helpful. Nothing mean. We're going through some S curves right now. And, you know, spiteful or anything like that. But, yeah. So I'm all set up. All I have to do is walk in the door tomorrow, all ready to go and make some sales. And speaking of sales, while setting up, I have already made my booth fee back plus $3. So that's how that goes. All right, I got to get off of here. Well, good morning, guys. I am here, and I can't tell you how awkward I feel. Everything's set up. Place is buzzing with vendors. It won't be too much longer now, and the show will be on the road. So I'll check back in.
Are you ready for a water?
Not yet. But thank you. Messing up my stuff. So it is 9:40. I've had 2 sales. Everybody touching. Everybody talking about them, but just 2 sales. And I'm so tired. Having 2 people here or another person with you would be helpful, just so you have someone to talk to. Okay, so it's over, and I don't have anything to compare it to. I think I did okay. I haven't looked, but I just noticed that my daughter cracked the screen to my phone, and I'm not happy. And I'm sure it's just the protective cover, but I don't know. But this place, there was a lot of people in here, but most of them were touchy, squeezy, feely, oh, isn't that cute, and walk away. So, yeah, that's how that went. But when I get home, I can take a look at the numbers and see what is going on. If I can get out of here. It's quite the lineup of cars. Oh, gosh. So, yeah. I guess we have a market recap coming. Well, hey everyone, the market is over, and I think I had a fairly decent day. Of course, this was my first market. I didn't know what to expect, and it, I didn't sell out, so I have plenty of inventory for the December 9th market. Some of you guys had me worried about that. Last night when I was setting up, I thought that I might be the only person there with the plushies. On the inside where I was at, I was the only one, but there was one vendor that was set up in the outside area, and their booth was right at the entrance before you come in. So it was like the last thing you saw was them on the outside, and the first thing that you saw was me on the inside. So that made it a little interesting. I can tell you that tons of people had smiles on their face, especially the elderly and the little kids. But what drove me nuts is the place was loaded with people. There were a lot of looky-loos, touchy-feelies. You know, everybody come by, they were touching and squeezing, and it drove me nuts. All I could see was like dirty, sticky hands touching all my stuff. So that was a little hard for me to get past. By the end of the day, I was getting used to it, but in the beginning I was just like, "Ooh, don't touch it," you know. It was interesting. So I have quite a list of items that I did sell. A lot of my stuff was one of this, one of this, one of this, one of this, one of this. So I don't really have a bestseller. The one item that I had multiples of that sold the most was the little pocket octos. I will tell you that. So what I am going to try and do is pop up a picture when I tell you what I sold. And I'm not going to go over individual dollar amounts. I'll just give you the total at the end minus my different costs. So, and not in any particular order. It's pretty much alphabetical. So, but I can tell you that my first sale of the day were two young kids, and one of them bought a little mini bird and the other bought one of the little pocket octos. So that was my very first sale of the day. My last sale of the day was my highest sale. And that was the deer and the cat. So, but let's just go through the list. Of the plushies, I sold the Among Us character, one avocado, two large axolotls, my sparkle bee, the one that had the antennas and the legs. I sold three mini birds, my small brontosaurus that I made with the velvet sparkle yarn. You know, it had like, looks like it's got glitter in it. The really nice cat, the one that had the fish line whiskers, two chicken nuggets, my mini pocket cow, my reindeer, the pink duck, the one that I made for Barbie, one easy cat, one of the two-tone mini frogs, the giant octopus that I made as a draw them in type thing. Didn't really expect to sell it, but we sold it. One gnome. I sold the sleeping goose. I took three Grinch. I sold one, and the one that sold was the one with the felt eyes that looked like Toby. Whiskers, are you joining us? Two leggy frogs, and those were the ones with the bows on them. Three of the Maybell chickens, and those didn't start to sell until after I pulled them off the shelf and sat them out on the table. Once some of the table space started to clear up, I was moving things off the shelves and setting it on the tables. So three Maybell chickens. I sold the boy monkey. I sold the little girl monkey. I sold Mr. Bread and Butter, the little mini panda, one pickle, my snake, that mini elephant that I don't think I have a picture of, but I had mentioned that I didn't really care for how it looked, but I put it out there in the $8 basket and sold it for $8. I sold the Space Invader, one Stanley squid, and the squid that sold was the one that I used the really big eyes on. Then the mint green sunflower turtle, and then the like tan sunflower turtle, and my chubby cow, which was made from the Bernat velvet. Then keychains, did really good with keychains. I sold the Space Invader keychain, the little bee that I didn't follow the pattern. I got lost on the pattern and skipped a row somehow, but I sold that. I sold two of the, what do you call it? The Easy Cats. One chicken keychain, one gnome keychain, 3 mushy pop keychains, and my possum keychain. Then I left off the plushie side, 6 of the pocket octos. So it was an interesting day. It started off really slow. Like it opened at 9. I got there about 8:15, and I could tell people were messing with the table. And a lot of the vendors come over and said they just had to touch them and feel them because they just had to. So the market opened at 9. I had the 2 young kids as my first customers. And then it seemed like forever before the next sale came in. I'm looking at the time, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's only 9:38. I think I had one other sale in that time frame. Then it seemed like it went for a long time. Jenna showed up at around 11 to, give me a bathroom break. And then she stayed with me till we closed and helped me pack it all up. The busiest hour was from 12 to 1. Dollar-wise. Now I got lost somewhere in trying to track my sales. I forgot to take pen and paper. So when I was counting my money and trying to figure out what sold, I had $51 in cash more than my square said. And I know what 2 of them were. One was one of the large axolotls, and one of them, it was the little mini elephant. And that, 18 and 8 is $26 of the $51. So I have some stuff that I'm not sure what I sold. Just throwing that out there. So that was my list. Now my total sales were $661. My market fee was $35. My square fees were $6.53. My total cost for my materials for what sold was $165.70. And I know that sounds like a lot, but the way I calculated it out is once it was made, I weighed it and I did it at 5 cents a gram. And that's how I calculated my cost for that particular item. Calculated how much does my yarn cost a gram, my stuffing, and then the cost of the eyes, blah, blah, blah. So I weigh it and I'd multiply the weight in grams times 5 cents. That's how I determined my cost. So my total materials costs were $165.70. And my total profit minus those fees, this does not count displays or tables or anything like that. That is something that I don't believe should come out of one single individual market. So my total profit was $453.77. I did $440 in cash. Of my $661 in sales, $440 was paid in cash, and the rest was card, and somebody did one of those cash things where you just tap and pay. I'm not sure which one it was, but it went through, so that's what it is. So yeah, $453.77 in profit. I still have a whole lot of stuff left for my next market. I was very surprised that the things, I mean, I wasn't surprised that they sold because they were really nice, but like the monkeys, the deer, the cat, of those nicer, longer projects that didn't sell, the big snowman and the dragon and the sloth. The sloth didn't sell either. But the monkeys, they were like, of those nicer plushies, they were the first ones to go. And the last sale of the day was the reindeer and the cat. But they got a lot of people looked at them, a lot of people talking about them. I had one lady come back and she's like, oh no, it's sold. The little girl monkey. She looked at it yesterday during setup because she was another vendor, and she looked at it again this morning, and then she came by at the end of the day and it was gone. What can I tell you? So it was, I would like to say that selling through the square and trying to use that to track your inventory was easy, but it was not. I mean, it's all alphabetical, but then you have to remember, what did you name that thing so that you can find it? So it got a little confusing. So I think because my little mini octo keychains, which the octopus was smaller than the actual pocket octo, because of the yarn that I used. I sold out of keychains, which I didn't. That was, the pocket octos were what that was. So yeah, I'll have to get the inventory straightened out, I have to go back through and separate everything out and see what I actually still have and try and figure out what else I sold that I didn't punch in. I thought I was doing really good at keeping track, but obviously not. And I didn't have pen and paper to sit there and write it down because, I didn't think of that because I had everything in the Square app and everything was going to be super easy, right? No, not at all. So yeah, as you saw, I did get a tiny little bit of market footage. I really wanted to pop in with more updates and really get to walk around and look at the market. But only one time did I see a volunteer come by to see if you needed a restroom break or a water break or anything like that. So I was pretty much where I was at until Jenna got there, and then I was able to, step outside for a minute. I didn't want to leave her too long because she didn't know how to use the Square system. So I just told her, if they're paying cash, take it. If they're doing credit card, tell them I'll be right back. And just go from there. And then she walked around. She bought herself one thing, bought us lunch on the way home. But it was a huge help having someone to be able to break down. And then yesterday when I was setting up, there were the two teenage girls. And they they were a big help as far as getting the things out of the tote and everything. They did decent at setting things up. I did move a few things around. And I think maybe that those wire shelves were a pain. Everything kept falling over. So I need to get some of those, what's that, fiberboard? Where it's like a cardboard poster board, and cut them in strips to put on the shelves so that they're flat so things don't keep falling over. And that would make those work better. But I think I want to get some of the wood crates for display purposes and go from there. Okay, like I was saying, as far as display goes, I think I would like to get some of the wood crates. As things sold and I pulled them off the shelves and had them out on the table, like I didn't sell a Maybell chicken until I moved them from the shelf and put a couple right at the corner of the table. And as soon as I did that, boom, I sold one. So I'm thinking I would like some of the wood crates. And not to mention those shoe racks, I like them, but you know, everything kept falling over. So I need to get the fiber board to put on to make it a flat shelf so things won't tip over. I am super glad I did not go crazy with Christmas merchandise, because the only thing Christmas-wise that I sold was one Grinch and the reindeer, which the deer could be for Christmas or not be for Christmas. No snowmen sold. None of the little mini Christmas trees. I mean, it is still November. Maybe everybody's like not in that mindset yet, but we'll find out come December 9th, because that one is billed as a Christmas market, and we'll see what I can get made between now and then. I definitely need to do the monkeys again, probably another cat or two. You know, those were some of the nicer ones, but those were such a draw. People just, they came over and that it was like, the conversation was on that. And then the big octopus, I don't know that I'll make another one of those, even though it did sell today. But when I made it, it was funny because Jenna says, I wouldn't pay $45 for that. And I'm like, that's huge. Do you know how much yarn that took? And she was standing right next to me when it sold. And I just kind of looked at her like, but it's just not her type of thing. You know, that's why she said she wouldn't pay $45 for it. You know, you have the right person has to come along to do it. But overall, I mean, I had fun. There was a short period of time there that I was a little bored. I managed to get one row of my filet blanket done. And I don't have any real super interesting stories other than I possibly have one custom order out of this. I talked to a few people. They gave me a couple of leads on a couple different markets that are a possibility. The very last customer of the day, her bill was $50. She gave me 3 20s. I handed her a 10. There was another lady there that was kind of like reaching across in front of her, and then she's like, you didn't give me my change. I'm like, yes, I did. I'm sure if you look in your purse, you'll see that your change is there. It was a little hectic. She was a little scatterbrained, you know, a little flighty, but she found it. And then she was full of apologies. Oh, I didn't mean to accuse you. And I'm like, it was confusing. It was a little hectic. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm not holding it against you, you know? So, yeah, I think overall it went pretty well. I wasn't sure what to expect. Some of you guys had me a nervous wreck, though. saying that I'm gonna sell out of everything. Would have been nice, but it wouldn't have been nice because then I wouldn't have had anything for December 9th. But so I'm pleased with how today went. And like I said, I had a good time. I got to meet some people, got to talk with some people, got to hear a couple of people say, you know, the prices are too high. But most people didn't even flinch over prices. So, and my keychains went pretty good too, which I was pleased with that. And I still have not found those S hooks. So I guess now that I have sold some items, those would be the types of things that I work on to remake, because I have plenty of the smaller things. So my time will be spent replenishing those nicer items that I sold, like the monkeys and the cat and the deer, you know, that type of thing. So yeah, and some sunflower sea turtles. So those, and the people that bought those were the pretty ones. So almost had somebody buy Bertle, but they ended up getting the sparkle bee with the antenna and the little legs on it, and it was done with the Bernat sparkle. So I might have to do another one of those, or maybe two. I don't know. We'll see what I have time for. Anyhow, that was my big market day, and I'm not disappointed. So I hope none of you guys are disappointed, because I know a lot of you guys had had high hopes for me, wishing me all kinds of luck, and I appreciate it. That, like, you guys don't even know how much I appreciated all the well wishes and encouragement and all that kind of stuff. It was great. It was great. So don't stop doing that, because one of these days I'll have one of those markets that's like the bang or the bomb. And I'm going to say farewell and go out and unload my car. And you guys can hang with me some more by clicking on this video right over here.